Hi, this is Kevin Deal from Upscale Audio, and today I'm here with the president of REL Acoustics, John Hunter.
Hey, Kevin.
And John is one of my heroes. He's just one of the smartest guys in high-end audio. He had acquired REL, how many years ago now?
Gosh, back in 2005.
Oh my God, and I'm telling you the changes that have happened. I mean, I always loved them back then, but we love them even more now. Listen, I gotta say something to you, and that is this. A lot of speaker manufacturers don't apply themselves real well when it comes to making subwoofers. I typically tell customers to buy from a specialist like REL because it's a different product, it's a different category. And when you talk about audiophiles, and you know, that's my typical customer, the music lover, right? The knuckle dragon audiophile Neanderthal guys. That's who we do.
You're talking about me.
You know, I'm talking about you, right? Yeah, exactly. And what they want is REL. And so one of the issues that's come up, not an issue, high efficiency speakers.
It's a real challenge.
Spatial, a few of the other Klipsch loudspeakers. When you have a speaker that's 105 dB efficient, sometimes subwoofers are not going to be as efficient. In other words, they won't be quite as sensitive, so you can't get them to turn up as much. It's not a lack of wattage or power. It's a mere case of sensitivity, and it's hard for people to get them to integrate well. And we've been having some great success. Well, with the 1510 has been tremendous, but with the 212, and I just want John to talk about REL's position and what they're doing.
Yeah, so a really quick sort of Reader's Digest. God, is that even something anymore? The very compressed, annotated version of it is this. When you go to build a subwoofer driver, one of the things you have to do is make sure it can do deep bass. Kind of obvious, right? That's called the FO, the resonant frequency. The lower you push the resonant frequency, as a general rule, the less efficient it is. So if you want a subwoofer to go down to, say, 20 hertz, you may find yourself very quickly down in the 83, 84 dB range, right? And yet you've got your holy grail. Hey, this thing is good. It's got power handling, does 20 hertz. What do I not like? Well, when you then go to apply it to making a finished product, what almost all of us do is we recognize that 97% of the speakers out there fall between roughly 87 decibels for 1 watt of input and call it 91, 92 dB. That's where everybody is in the market. And then there are people like Klipsch who build great sounding speakers. The Heritage stuff is amazing to me, yeah? And suddenly we got a problem. That's a 105 dB efficient speaker or something like that. It's an insanely efficient speaker. What does that mean? It means that for only a watt of input, it's outputting a full 105 dB. And 105 dB, to put it in layman's terms, is well past the volume where your wife is saying, that is way too loud, Harvey, turn that thing down, right? Very, very loud indeed. So, and that's the first watt. Mm-hmm. So that's the challenge we face. Now traditional RELs have always hooked up using something called high level, and we have an input that allows us to take it straight off the back of the power amplifier. It sounds beautiful. And that's great if your speakers are conventional speakers. When you start moving up to very high efficiency horns that are 15 dB more efficient, we can't really do that because the amplifier, you make those beautiful Prima Lunas, right? I don't know, you don't make them, but you bring these to the market. And if they're only outputting 1.2 volts or watts, 1.4 watts, and it's plenty loud in the room, that's like medium loud on a 105 dB efficient speaker, actually very loud, the REL isn't getting enough of a signal. So, what did we decide to do? When we were doing the second generation of our HTs, and the 1003s and the 1205s will blow your mind, relatively speaking, even more than this thing. They're insanely good. The 1003, which was very loud if you ever listened to it, I know some of your guys own them, is now a minimum of 10 dB higher output and goes deeper and is more composed and on and on. So with these, what we decided to do was increase the gain and just stick to our knitting, and these are pure low-level devices. Let's turn this around so your folks can see it. Now, specifically as it relates to things like Klipsch Cornwalls, La Scalas, you could do, you know what I do with corner horns? If you could, I'd do a 6-pack of these. It's just, there's a bigness to a corner horn. When you listen to it, it's beautiful and sweet, but there's this voluminous quality to it. It's effortless and it's a big sound. And that's what the 6-packs give you automatically, right? You've got massive amounts of power and a lot of driven surface area. You just get this big, relaxed quality that would be in perfect keeping, and it's not crazy expensive. These initially will retail at $18,900. 18,000. I love that. I would love that. 18.9.
$18.99? I thought they were $19.99.
No, they're $18.99.
Okay.
So they're not crazy expensive, and they put out immense amounts of sound. We did a system last night, and I wanted to prove this to the staff, right? Because they're big Klipsch fans, and there is a certain thing. There's a vintage vibe to Klipsch, and for that matter, to Tannoy, which are pretty efficient also. They share the bigness, even though the Klipsch's, of course, are more efficient. And we wanted to show them these are really good for music, and give us like your biggest badass speaker that you have that you RELs couldn't keep up with this last year. Just, we love them. Apart from the 212SXs, you had nothing to do it. We now have something that at roughly a third the price does more than keep up with it. We were loafing yesterday. We were only turned up halfway. So we were, by doing this, by keeping it in a low level, by decoupling it from the amplifier only putting out the 1 watt, we can raise the output of this so it perfectly matches, which is all a REL volume control is ever supposed to do, is you're trying to get it to match exactly the efficiency of the speaker, then use the crossover to dial it in. And can I give them a home theater tip too? I know you guys are, you know, we're all the Neanderthal knuckle draggers.
Let's go.
But here's the thing. When you go to use these things in home theater, it's extremely important that you dial in the crossovers properly. What do I mean by that? What the rest of the industry will tell you, and Kevin's guys won't, is they'll say, listen, what you should do with a subwoofer, turn the crossover all the way up, get out of the way, and then you should go into your receiver. And you should use the built-in controls on a receiver. Now I'm going to tell you, they give you exactly 4 choices in most cases, right? If you're lucky, you have your choice of 40 hertz, 80 hertz, 120 hertz, and 200 hertz. You guys have got a really high-end one that goes all the way up to 250 hertz. But here's the thing. It's like being sold a new Porsche. And saying, Kev, I know you're a Porsche guy. I'm a Porsche guy. Well, there's a new innovation on these latest generation of Porsches. I don't know if you've heard about this. This is brand new. I was just talking to Stuttgart on my way over here. Turns out they've got a new 5-speed transmission, paddle shifter. It's a little weird though. It only lets you go 40 miles an hour, or 80 miles an hour, or 120 miles an hour, or 200 miles an hour. And the 250, well, the car doesn't really do 250, so that's kind of useless. You go, you're an idiot. What are you talking about? Right? That's what you're being taught. It's complete and utter nonsense. You reverse that. Take the receiver all the way up to its highest number. So in crossovers, go into speaker setup and configuration and do that. It takes like 30 seconds. You're going to want to select LFE plus main. And then for the crossover portion, you want to set that one as high up as possible. Why? Because the REL guys that spent 7 months just getting the crossover perfect, it lets you do all of this stuff. You can just creep up on that thing, go, wait, it's good. A little higher. Ooh, it's starting to get into that room boomy thing. Back it off a couple of clicks and you, oh, thank God, this works great. In many cases, it'll actually work perfectly for both your music and your theater, so you don't have to do that silly thing where, honey, where's the remote control? We're listening to music, I need to turn it down now. No, they really could be consistent. So this is an incredible piece. It's great for the Klipsch's. Klipsch's, oh my good Lord, is there a better speaker for home theater too?
Well, they're just tremendous.
Yeah.
And I gotta say something, I don't want to get the wrong idea that we do not do home theater. We do music first home theater, which means you gotta get the music part right first. And then the home theater part, I mean, is a lot easier. And when you said that thing about salespeople telling customers to use what's in the receiver, I just want to slap the shit out of people.
Anyway. So there you go. This is an amazing piece. We worked last night. We took a pair of Cornwalls and a pair of these. There is a trick. I'm going to publish it here first. When you go to use pairs of these, you do want to use like one of AudioQuest's Y adapters. So it's a single RCA female to 2 males. You do want to drive both channels of this to get it to have the right output. And I'm telling you, that system is probably one of the 10 best systems I've ever heard.
It was so fun. We have a video of the team. I mean, we have a good time. You should have seen Kat. Whoop, whoop. I mean,
she
knows
was
how to
losing
dance,
it.
so, yep.
Chris listened to it. One of your new guys who I just love. He just
Chris
brings
is great.
passion and energy and youth to it. And he was sitting there, and afterwards I was watching him nodding, and he said to nobody in particular, I was like totaling up the cost of the system. This was like under $30,000. This thing will destroy any $100,000 system I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That may be an overstatement, I don't know, maybe you've got the world's best $100,000 system, but the point being it was involving, it was huge. There were just volumes of air, the depth of image, all the stuff people tell you that Klipsch's don't do. I've never quite understood this, but if you set up a pair of Klipsch's properly, a pair of corner horns, a pair of Cornwalls, they're capable of big, rich, beautiful, supple sound.
And disappearing.
And just, yeah, I mean.
If you do it right, but people just
I know.
want to choke the living shit out of him. And by the way, Chris is a hot shot. Chris is one of the most technically adept people I know, especially in home theater, especially in digital. That guy is a rock star. Anything else we didn't cover here?
No, they're beautiful. They're not crazy expensive.
Yeah.
You come down.
We love it.
Make love, have fun.
Yep.
It's awesome.
So come to our beautiful store, call one of my non-commissioned salespeople. You know, we have a 60-day money-back guarantee. I mean, and I promise you this. At Upscale Audio, we are going to treat your system like it's ours. I want to thank John Hunter again. Thanks, John.
Of course. Thank you, Kevin.
Rockin'. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.